Recording is started. Before I give you the floor, for those of you guys who've been so kind as to take a half an hour out of your day today, let me kind of frame up what we're doing. So Maurice joined Poly as a summer intern, and you kind of go through his experience here. I got to tell you, I am super impressed by Maurice and what he's brought to the table. The young man kind of jumped in. I've been stretched beyond all belief, and he's been kind of the model, I'll say, intern. He took the bull by the horns, found problems to go and solve, plugged in where he thought he could add value, and I tell you what, he won me over as a big fan. So with that being said, Maurice, I'll throw it over to you.
Awesome. So first, just want to start by thanking you all and welcoming you to join me. I'm just going to go brief presentation to sort of talk about my time here, what I took away, and sort of what I brought back, what I was able to contribute to Poly here as a company. So before I start doing that, I thought I'd talk just a little bit, give you a bit of background on myself. So I'm a University of Toronto mechanical engineering student. My specialty is energy systems and mechatronics. So that box you see on the top of the screen there is an oscilloscope that I built last semester. Personally myself, I'm a huge fan of traveling. So I'm doing a Scandinavia backpacking trip leaving actually this Friday. Big fan of sailing and sports. So that's sort of a little bit about myself. What brought me here was sort of the Poly Global Emergent Talent Program. So that's a program focused on bringing sort of university talent into the Poly workforce, integrating us, and giving us these types of opportunities to show what we can bring to the company. So I was here in Toronto with our Toronto team. So we have Jeff Garrett here, our VP in Canada. On the sales side of things, we have Dana and Keith and Christine. And then on the SE side of things, I worked very closely with Joe, who's of course the manager for the North America channel and the Canada SE team, as well as I learned a lot from Michaeli and Ashana here, who is our new SE here, who started very similar time frame to when I started here at Poly. I wanted to break up sort of this presentation into two main parts. So the first being the sales portion, what I learned in sales and what I was able to do for the customer-facing side of things, and then also what I learned on a technical side about our products and what I was able to create on that end of things. So to start things off, I'll start where I started. So I had the fortune to start with Poly at the Collision Conference, which is a tech startup conference here in Toronto. I was there with Dana and Martin and Michaeli for several days, which was a really great experience to learn about Poly in this sort of in this sort of setting. It was also a really cool opportunity to meet super interesting people with super interesting new technology and startups, many of whom I'm still in contact with today. It was also the first opportunity I got to sort of to display my ability to clearly and succinctly communicate with customers, to get the key points across as effectively as possible. So that was where I started, and then from there I started doing sort of our Poly training. So obviously I went through the Polycom University and I learned a lot about our product line and its features. But then through coaching and through observing demos is where I really started to be able to develop insights, to develop new thoughts about our products through that process. I also showed me the value of sort of showing what we offer to the customer as a solution rather than a commodity, and how we can position ourselves that way, and also, of course, the importance of creating a value proposition based on every specific customer, what their specific needs are. I also worked with Joe quite a bit on the image you see on the screen here, so our Challenger sales cycle, which I know we use a decent amount here in Poly, as sort of a model for our sales. So it goes from taking the customer, understanding their needs, reframing their thinking, and then taking them to a point of understanding what the future may hold, and then making them see how Poly can fit into that future. Our solutions can be the ones that take them into the future. So this was something I integrated into everything I did, into presentations I created, into customer demos that I helped lead. And it was also something that led into another conversation that Joe and I started having about the challenge that comes in with customer demos of having both technical and business experts coming in, because very often this cycle, the conversation that happens is quite different. Technical experts have different questions from business experts. So from here we brainstormed and we had ideas about actually physically separating the two conversations, taking them through different tours. But then through experimentation, we kind of found that actually the best way to address this problem was to just have multiple people lead the demos. So to have the both tech experts and the business managers in the room and have multiple Poly people in that room so that the tech experts could see the business experts see their questions satisfied and vice versa. So we found that from a customer learning perspective, that was very beneficial, but also from a learning perspective for us, it was great because many of us got to see how our own counterparts position products that we may never have thought of or seen. So we found that this sort of larger dynamic didn't interrupt the flow of our customer demos while providing maximum learning on both sides of the aisle. So through this learning, I did about a bit more than 30 unique customer demos here at Poly. So I started off sort of on the sidelines, observing, learning as much as I could. And then towards the latter half of my term, as I gained confidence doing this, I was put into more and more of a lead role in these customer demos. I felt that I was able to create very strong customer relationships, and the feedback I received on both my performance and my growth was very positive. So I was very happy to see that and see how I could actually add value to our sales presentation. I also took steps later on into the sales cycle. So later stage sales assistant. So after sales support, steps like this. So customer monitoring, evaluating climate, reaching out, escalating situations when needed. So I wasn't just in the sales position, but I looked after the entire sales cycle, almost in a unique SE type of role, which was a very valuable experience. I think a lot of the reason I was able to do quite well in a sales position was because of the technical knowledge I gained here. So I was fortunate enough to start here at Poly as I said, as a very similar time frame to Ashana, who's our new SE here in Toronto. So that meant I was actually able to undergo a lot of the unique SE training that she went through. So that gave me a fantastic base of knowledge and put me in a position where I was actually able to help and provide field help for customers. So I was frequently at client sites, helping and assisting and troubleshooting and resolving problems there. I also was put in charge of managing the technology we have here in Toronto in the demo center, which is where we are right now. So that also gave me quite a bit of hands-on experience and troubleshooting experience with our own products. So that gave me quite a bit of knowledge. It also it displayed the need to be able to proactively monitor the software that we have here in our lab. So that means that when we come into the lab in the morning, we need to be able to know, is everything running? Is it good to go? If it's not, what isn't? How can we fix it? So in order to do this, I reached out to Gary Miyakawa, who is actually on the call with us today. He's an external. He has done quite a bit of training for us here at Poly, and he's actually created an application that does remote controlling and monitoring of our traditional endpoints. So for our group series and for our HDXs, his software does an excellent job at monitoring those and providing us with status reports. However, for the Trio stuff that we have now, there was nothing. So this is where I took it upon myself to create a solution to mirror the functionality of what Gary had built for the traditional endpoints. So what I built, it's a self-contained application. It's designed to provide us to control and provide status reports on our Trio products. So it works by sequentially restarting and testing as many trios as we desire, and then passively provides all the status, all the outputs to us in useful output folders. It does this, you would typically have it scheduled to run at whatever, 4 a.m. or so, and so that way you come in the morning and you know everything's good. If there is an error, it will pop up with a user warning on the screen to let us know what phone has an error and what the error was. This application is one that I demoed for the North America channel team and the Canada SE team last week. And during that meeting, I received plenty of positive feedback and validation that this was, in fact, a need that we needed to address in our demo center. So having that sort of ability to proactively control and monitor our hardware. So sort of as you can see, I think I was able to take a lot away and learn a lot, both on the technical side and on the sales side of things. But I also feel like I made a positive impact here during my time here. I think I made a positive impact on our customers, on our demos, and I think I made a positive impact on the technology and creating from there. So with that, I pretty much just wanted to thank you all for providing me with this opportunity, for working with you. It's been really amazing working with so many bright people. Thank you so much for taking the time here to listen to me today. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity now. If you have any questions for me, anything at all, I'm happy to answer those for you. Thank you.
Great having you on the team for a while, Maurice. Hope to see you again.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, great job, Maurice. Yeah, I think last week when you gave us the demo, we'd love to have a copy of that stuff. If you leave, take a look at that code and stuff like that. We have some ideas. I think you've inspired some ideas with the trio management. So maybe take the use case that you have for it, and I think there's a lot of other customer things that they can do with that same idea. So well done.
Awesome, thank you. I'll make sure it's all available before I'm gone.
Awesome.
Yeah, hey Maurice, I have 2 points. One is you did a great job with my customers. Your client-facing skills are terrific. And the one thing you omitted about the impact you had is you had a great impact on the people you worked with. So thank you, good luck, and come back and see us because you did great on our team.
Thank you, Keith. And I've said this to you and to Shauna and our people in Toronto. So I'm going back to school here in the fall now, but I'm just a few blocks up the road from our Toronto office. So I'm by no means out of touch. I'm still happy to come in on a personal or professional basis and help in any way I can.
Yeah, maybe I'll just add to what Keith was saying that I think you really slipped into that role very well, and I really found, especially sort of in the last couple months, that you were, I really kind of looked at you as an SE, and you're able to kind of slide in there with customers and play that role very well. So it was comforting to know you're there, and your technical skills, but also your people skills and your customer skills are great. So obviously you have some work to do to continue to refine those, but from a just from a perspective of seeing many SCs over the years in front of customers, you were just doing a fantastic job based on how long you had been here and the I guess kind of short runway you did have. And I think you mentioned that having the training with Ashana starting probably helped, but certainly you must have been a bit of a sponge because you absorbed a lot of that really quickly. So good job there.
Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot.
Yeah, if I can just add to that as well, like Maurice's impact here has been pretty strong. Not just with the demos, but also coming along with Martin or me or even Michaela for customer demos and troubleshooting, or assisting us with any sort of technical requirements. And he also helped me and Michaela talk through redoing the demo rooms here, and his inputs were very valuable in that sense as well. And of course with the APIs, so I think I need to take some time to sit with Maurice and get all the APIs and just...
That's right, I'm handing it all off to her.
Yeah, I was like, just give me all the stuff that you did. But in such a short period of time, it didn't feel like he was like an intern or a co-op, because he wasn't struggling with information. He would just not just grab it, but also take ownership and initiative to learn by himself. So he's definitely going to be missed, and yeah.
Thanks, Shana. Means a lot.
The other thing I would say, Maurice, that the one area where you're not a typical SC is you're a lot neater than most of the SCs, like Joe. And I know the first time that I saw your impact was where I walked into the office and I said to Bapana, how did this whole back area get so clean? And Michaeli just kind of hung his head and walked away, and Bapana said, oh, Maurice did all that on his own. I said, okay, that's definitely not something that we have, as a trademark in any of our existing SEs. But maybe Ashana is an exception, because Ashana, I haven't seen your neatness yet, but don't take after Joe in that way, please.
I'll keep that in mind. So whenever, Jeff, I know you're going to come into the office, I'm going to just clean up quickly.
Okay, there you go.
Hide the boxes somewhere.
Yeah, hide the box.
Well, we have our CEO coming in early October, so I'm hoping that we don't have a skid with a monitor on it in the back, right, Pepana?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, and
we'll
hopefully the
see.
demo room will also be done by then, or at least
Well,
updated.
we'll see what we can do, Jeff. I mean, thanks for the dig. That was well appreciated.
Oh, it wasn't meant, Joe. That was really coincidental. Sorry about that.
So let me close it here, Maurice. I mean, you heard the feedback. I don't think there's much more I want to add. Maybe I'll add one little iota. I've had interns in other lives before, and wow, this guy really blew my socks off. Right, just like first day coming in, cleaning up the office, right, going to a show and listening to how we say our message, and then being able to regurgitate it in his own way, which was endearing and impactful, shall I say. Uh, Looking at stuff like, hey, how do I make the demo experience better? Here's some feedback. Yeah, Maurice, you're not the typical millennial. You exceeded my expectations. We've talked about this. When you're done school, don't forget about me. Send me a note. Let's see what we can make happen. It's been a pleasure. For those of you who are in or around the Toronto office, we're going to take Maurice up for a couple. Are you over the age of? You can drink, right, Maurice? Okay,
Yeah.
good. We're going to take him for a couple of wobbly pops Thursday afternoon, evening. So if you're around, please do us the honor and join. So Maurice, thanks very much. I'll throw it back to you if you have any closing statements, but I will say thanks very much to the team for joining today. It meant a lot to have all of you guys participate in Maurice's closing of his tenure with us, at least in this go-round.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, and thank you everyone for all the amazing feedback. Like I said, it really means a lot. Going to be going into the next semester with a lot more confidence from this position. I think I took a lot away, and I hope I was able to make as much of an impact as you guys all did on me. So thank you all. It's been amazing here. Cheers.
Thanks.
Good luck,
Maurice.
Maurice.
Take care.
Good luck.
Thanks.